All right, y'all, this is our take. This is Mark the moderator. Black Lives Matter.
Thanks.com. The game is the game, always.
Avi the Process, Bergen.
Yo, so we have a lot to talk about, and it's not so much about sports. We're going to talk about everything we're seeing going on in the past couple of days. What's your take on the scope of what you see and where things have shaken out to? The last time we recorded, we had seen that we was waiting on the officers to get arrested. That has happened. George Floyd's funeral was today. That has happened. Rioting has happened. Where do you see us at right now at this point in time with everything going
on? I honestly, we've seen, us actually being on, together. I think in our lifetime, obviously we've seen like an abundance of protests or whatever it is. But I gotta say, like, this one feels a little different. This one feels a little different. This one feels like, nah, we're not playing no more. This one feels like, we're definitely going to see some significant, if not policy change, you're gonna see some significant approach changes. You know what I mean? Like to have the NFL come out late as usual, and to have people now talking about replacing Goodell. And to have people kind of like being consistent, because I think the main thing is about sustainability. Can we sustain this kind of like push? And every time we get slapped, we say no, because that's really what it is. Every time we get slapped, we got to say no, and we gotta be consistent with that. This can't be one of them things where we protest, we get wild, and then we disappear. We gotta keep the foot on the pedal at this point. So this one feels different. This one feels like, I feel like there's a lot more diversity in the protests and where we're going with it. I feel like there's a lot more of people just with togetherness as far as being on the same page with it. I do feel like there's still a lot of people out there that still don't care, and that's providing us with lip service. But I think things are going to turn out a lot differently this go around. And I think, we're seeing where, as you say, there are a lot of people that say, protesting and looting and all of this and ripping up stuff doesn't do nothing. But you know what? It really does. You know what I mean? It really does. It's the bully that kept bullying us, and we saying, nah, B. And now we got more homies with us. You know what I'm saying? Now we got more homies walking down the block. So this feels different. I think we're heading in a different path, man.
Hold on, Banks. I'm going to let you guys. I just want to say something. Everybody, as you see, one of our co-hosts are not here tonight. We don't have Leaf with us. And as you see, Avery's trying to take up the time that Leaf would have taken. So, Banks, I want you to go on now.
The James Harden of our take sports.
Hold on, wait. I got it. The James Harden, the dialogue.
700 dribbles.
No doubt, dude.
Yo, man. Go ahead, Banks.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, we, like Avery said, we got to see if it's going to be sustained. There were protests in every state at one point. When was the last time you seen every state in this country
New Zealand
together, right?
New Zealand,
yeah. And then,
they got some of the places in Amsterdam.
Yeah, and then there's 18 countries besides the United States, man. I'm still kind of skeptical because, I got to see the change. And I'm sick of with the Dems and the Democrats and the kente cloth and the kneeling. Listen, man, I'm tired of the photo ops, man. All we want is to be treated fairly. We don't need all this extra y'all putting on kente cloth and doing all this stuff. The Dallas police chief, he kneeled with the protesters with his fellow officers, and then 10 minutes later, authorized tear gas against it. And what's more crazy to me than anything else is that these riots, these protests are about police brutality, right? How do the police respond? With more police brutality.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. We've gotten to a point in this country where you know, it's serve and protect, but it's not really. You know, they got all that gear, all these gear that you see the cops that they have was to fight terrorism. They got all this gear after 9/11, and they're using it against their own citizens. So I'm optimistic, but there's also a healthy dose of skepticism in there because I don't know, man. When we're talking about systematic racism, this is not something that's going to be dismantled overnight. This is a policy, a procedure that took years to formulate and become, like, you know, with a part of the American fabric, right? So it's going to take that long to dismantle it. And there's still people that don't care. We got a president that's still tweeting crazy stuff. We got, think about that. It's crazy. I'm sorry. I know I'm doing a little Avery right now, but the cops,
a little Steve Nash.
They pushed down the cops pushed down a 75-year-old man, right? And that entire police force, that entire police force, those cops got punished, and the entire police force, that entire unit retired and cheered those cops when they came out the courtroom. Like, y'all watch them push down a 75. Like, where is the line? Where's the line?
Let me just correct you.
Does it have to be a pregnant? Does it have to be a pregnant white woman?
Let me just correct you. Let me correct you for a second. They resigned from working in that unit. They didn't
resign from the force.
I'm sorry. They didn't resign from the unit.
Yes. Right. But let me say, I mean, listen, and change, I mean, Banks, I understand your skepticism. And I've been around longer than you have, and I've been in a lot more protests and seen a lot more. And I'm not skeptical this time. The reason is because, like you said, the height of what's going on. I turned on Amazon and it says Amazon supports Black Lives Matter. I was like, yo, wait a minute, stop. It's really, you watching NASCAR right now. You have Bubba Wallace talking about we need to get rid of the Confederate flag, which is the standing symbol for NASCAR, and they're talking about doing it. You're now seeing a push that we didn't see in the past, and we haven't seen that diversity which you're talking about. We always talked about we need white voices. Well, now you got voices, faces, and white action. So now you're seeing things are really hitting home. Things are really coming around. The consciousness.
I agree with you, Mark, but here's what I will say, right? Nice statement by Amazon. Nice statement by a lot of these companies, right? My skepticism comes from this. It's nice to make a statement in a time like this. Where was this before? Okay, now you're kind of forced into it, but what are you actively doing?
Let me explain.
Are you just putting up a statement?
No.
Are you real quick, Mo?
Go ahead.
No, I'll just say this. So, like with Amazon, what does your board of directors look like? Are you trying to make a change where you're actually making a difference in the community, where your company is more representative of the world that we live in? You know what I'm saying? So that's where I want to see.
But here's the thing. You ask a question about change and then say you want to see it overnight, but then knowing that it takes time. It's a window that we're gonna have to wait for. What I am gonna bring up, and I applaud people. Look at what they did in Camden, New Jersey. Look at what Ferguson did. Look at some of these other places that have changed policies and dismantled, the departments to really have impact, and it's over a period of time. If you Google Camden 7 years ago and watch the change that has happened there, the crime rate is cut in half, and Camden used to have the highest crime rate in the country. And and it's 25, and it's more than, and it's no more than 30 blocks. So that's what I'm like, listen. So change comes, but like I said, I understand the skepticism. But Avery, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that the passive way would have worked this time, or the rioting and everything that we're seeing is one of the key cogs to getting the change that we possibly could see?
Yeah, look. You fight fire with fire, right? So I don't think passively, and it depends on how you classify passive, but you fight fire with fire. And as I stated, I don't think in any way, shape, or form that what we saw, right? In the nature of how we saw it, you was gonna get passive. Like it's a mass of people, and not even just black people. It's a mass of people saying, like, yo, here's the funny thing. It took a pandemic. It took us being shut out of everything. It took sports not being on. All of that, right? For us to have no attention on anything, for us to really see with a clear lens what systematic racism really is. Think about that. How we have all these other distractions going on, we may have responded differently. But I think because of, I'm in the crib, COVID's around, my peoples have passed, and we out here and y'all still killing us? We out here and y'all still slaying us? Y'all still with no regard to humanity. The passiveness, the passive idea is not even a thought at this point. And people are caged lions right now, you know what I mean?
I think Banks said it previously. He said that it's a perfect storm. Everything came at the right time. And this is now is the time that people can sit and see actually what's going on. And let me say it, man. Let's be real about it. People knew about it. That just conscience wasn't open. Their eyes wasn't open. They knew, but they wasn't going to do anything about it until now. And now people are up forthcoming. Like, my white silence is violence. That's deep. Go ahead, Banks.
So here's my thing, right? Like, one thing I would like to see is I'm tired of us trying to explain what Black Lives Matter means. I don't want to see nobody else doing that. When they say all lives matter, they know what they're doing. Hold on. They know what they're doing. You're not blind. You're not stupid. You're making that statement out of the fact that you just want to openly be racist without saying I'm trying to be racist. Everybody gets Black Lives Matter at this point. And if you're still saying all lives matter or some other variation of it, you just want to be that person. You know what I'm saying?
But Banks,
so I don't want to see that anymore.
Right. But Banks, I think that only comes from a certain sect of people. That ignorance is racism, and it comes from racist people. If you have someone around you that is shouting all lives matter, you either slap the shit out of them or cut them off. Because at this point, you know they're racist.
Listen, let me clarify something. All lives do matter. Just not right now. Not right now. It don't matter. Wait. Let me finish my point.
Go ahead.
It does not matter in this context. You know what I'm saying? And it's not an appropriate time to say that. We can't keep saying that. Like, for people, and not we, but for that idea to be thrown around is to passively pass. That in itself is the reason why Black Lives Matter. Because you're trying to say, all lives matter, even though we know it is you that this is happening to. Even though we know that everything has shown us it's you. All lives matter. Don't worry about that. That comes from a place of constant privilege. That comes from a place of constant racism. That's what that comes from. And they really they understand it, just like what Banks says. They understand it, but it sounds good. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like you care. But miss me with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, the person that says that to me, we gonna have a problem. Don't say that in my presence. Miss me with that all lives matter stuff, please.
On that note, we're gonna come right back, y'all. This is our take. This is Mark, the moderator. Black Lives Matter, y'all.
Peace, man.
Peace.
It's gotta be tight.